My name is Linda Pasicreta. I'm the president of the Richmond Garden Club and very proud to have been a member and working in this garden since 2012. Richmond Garden Club adopted the park, the maintenance of the gardens here, in 2008. So we've been here a good long time. We are starting our very first how-to garden video presented by the Richmond Garden Club on behalf of the Richmond Public Library. We've chosen to have our videos in Pollock Park. Why are we choosing Pollock Park? Well, first of all, we got to get rid of all these invasives, and that's what we're doing right now. But because of the coronavirus, we find it easier to film outside where we can get some safe distance. So this is why we've chosen Pollock Park. Park was purchased by the city in the early 2000s from the Pollock family. The Pollock family actually moved in the 1930s, early 1930s. And when they bought the land, it was pretty much all peat and pretty sad trees. So they clear-cutted the land. Then Mr. Pollock, as soon as the Lionsgate Bridge opened up, he went over to the North Shore and he came back with a whole bunch of seedlings. So all the trees you see on this land, and there's 6 acres of it, were trees that Mr. Pollock brought back. They're really not natural to the city of Richmond area. Mrs. Pollock was a fanatic gardener, and two of her absolutely favorite types of flowers were azaleas and rhododendrons. And there is just tons, oodles of azaleas and rhododendrons, which will be coming into bloom towards the end of April, early May. So she designed these garden beds. There's over 30 of them on an 1.5 acres land here. She designed them in the arts and crafts style, which everywhere you look, when you come visit this park, you'll see no matter where you stand, there are long views. So Richmond Garden Club and community volunteers work diligently to maintain these beautiful perennial beds. So this is a great spot for us to showcase some tricks and best practices around gardening, especially things like right now where we're getting soil ready for spring planting. We're dividing plants. We're getting rid of invasives that will actually take over your garden and not allow anything else to grow. And just keeping everything tidy and ready for some more plants to be planted. And here is something that is popping up all through the gardens here in Pollock. It's a beautiful anemone, and you can see how delicate it is. And it's in amongst these bulbs that are just coming up. And right beside me, a lovely peony is well underway. So soon this will just be a mass of color, but it's so pretty to see these little dainty anemones. Beautiful plant. We never know what we're going to have spring up in our garden, but this one is called Corydalis, and it's a lovely early spring flower, and we are delighted to see that it is now popped up in amongst our other flowers. This is one of the beautiful plants we've got in Pollock Park. This is a false spirea, and this color will get fuller and fuller and fuller, and you'll see this lime green and pink color throughout the whole season. It likes to have little babies, but doesn't like to be moved. So we are just so delighted with this beautiful, beautiful plant. here I am in amongst a circular bed, and we've got about 9 apple trees here that was planted by the city and by the Pollocks. But right here is a beautiful viburnum that has got berries on it. And then this one here is just coming into flower. It's called Ikaria japonica. And it'll be a mass of yellow flowers. And we're standing in amongst a whole bunch of irises. So it's just alive in this little corner circular type of garden. So we are working in the garden beds here. Remember I mentioned there's over 30 of them. And we've got a lot of plant material. So a couple things we do is we prepare the soil. In the fall, we put all kinds of leaf mulch on the bed. And we get all this material from the city. And we covered the ground because nature does not like bare ground. So if you leave your ground bare, it's going to have problems with drainage. You're going to lose some soil. You're going to even maybe lose some plants. So we always cover the grounds with leaf, and you can see a little bit left over here. And then we come in, and we're doing that right now. We're getting out plants that kind of got into an area. This one's called Bear's Breeches, and it's about this high. Beautiful plant, but it's not good to have right here. First of all, it's very, very prickly and sharp. Has beautiful purple flowers on it, but it shouldn't be near an edge. So we are actually planting that in the middle of this garden. And then this one I accidentally dug up, but we certainly, and here, we don't want this. This is called vinca or periwinkle. So this plant you can see is like a creeping vine. It has this very pretty purple flower on it, and people planted it in their garden, and suddenly there's nothing else but this plant. So it does not belong in our gardens. The BC Invasive Species Council basically says it's invasive weed and to get rid of it. So we wouldn't throw this in the compost. We'll actually throw this into the garbage because unfortunately, if we do, we'll get it right back in our gardens when it comes back as dirt. And it's on the BC invasive species list. It'll completely take over your garden. You won't have anything except this non-native plant that probably came from somebody throwing a hanging basket into their compost. So this plant we try to get out of it, and there's a lot here. It's got a little purple flower on it. So some people think it's very pretty, but it's invasive here. So this one I'll actually plant again. So we have come in here, and there was probably about 9 of us working in this garden. We're still not finished on this one bed. And we took out all the weeds that have shown up through the winter. And then as we go along, somebody comes behind, and they're actually putting on top of the soil a 2-year-old leaf mulch. So it's leaves that have been sitting for 2 years, and it's almost liquid. It is so beautiful. So we put that on top, and what that does, it retains the moisture in the soil, and it continues to build up. It's a mulch, so it continues to get our soil in a beautiful, beautiful shape. Right here, our soil is a little bit too sandy. All right, so these are 2 samples of soil from the same garden bed, but it's a huge garden bed. So we're working down in this very sandy area, and you can see when I squeeze that soil, it just crumbles. It just basically falls away from my hand. And you can imagine if you water in an area that's got this kind of sandy soil, it wouldn't hold the water, and your plants are going to be struggling because they can't retain the moisture. You need to add in compost. We add in a ton of 2-year-old leaf mulch into this, and it adds more texture and more nutrients into the soil. This is another one I got from the middle of the garden in the same bed, where we've really got the compost loaded, or the leaf mulch added in, and we put you know, our leaves on in the fall. So we're really building up this soil here. But you can see when I squeeze it, it stays together, but not so much. Like, it's not, I couldn't throw a snowball at somebody with this soil. So this is what we're doing right now, and we'll continue our video series. We are so glad you joined us, and our next one is going to be on creating a beautiful spring container. We'll see you then.